Yo,
Hey, Mr. Steve, how you
what's happening? How
doing?
you doing? What's
I'm
going on?
good, doing good. I was like, wait a minute, let me make sure I got everything right, everything straight. Just want to make sure everything's good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing great. It's
I,
good to be here.
look, I see that plaque in the background. You know I love them
I
plaques.
I tried to make it.
Look, I was like, when I see that, I get so happy because I always love to see any songwriter producer, all your accomplishments on the back of that, because that goes to show you that you really, really mean something to our culture. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Wow.
And
I
I'm
appreciate
just honored. But before we do get started, I want to introduce myself.
it.
My name is Chastity Buckley. I'm the
Yeah.
host of Midnight R&B Edition, Homage to Midnight Love BET, where I give all my flowers to all my R&B artists, singers, songwriters, and producers. And I'm here with a R&B legend,
Oh
point
wow.
blank period. Well, excuse me, gospel too, because man, you have dominated so many genres. I'm super, super excited to have you on the platform.
Mm.
Singer, songwriter, producer, the base of all bases, the one, the only, Mr. Steve Stone Huff. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
What?
You know.
Look, I'm super excited. You know, Keke just reposted me on her platform today, the album. I didn't even
Oh,
know.
nice, nice.
I was like, wait a minute, hold up. Not Keke Wyatt, not her. Look.
That's really good. And I mean, saying, where would we be without people like you? Who
Yeah.
understand, who still feel like, what we did, meant something and still means something. And to really,
Yeah.
you know, celebrate 20 years of,
Mm,
doing that record, you
mm,
already
mm,
know
mm.
that's a whole lot of memories and a whole lot of, and great times, back then. And, she's still doing her thing. We still doing our thing. And, it's a beautiful thing.
Well, we want
It's
to honor you
beautiful.
today because, I mean, for you, you have done so much in the industry. You got what I'm saying, Mr. Huff? And, I just love what you have done for so many people, especially Avant. You gave us Avant and Keke,
Wow.
And a
Yeah.
person like that, for me at 10 years old, getting hit with My First Love, and I didn't even know what that song was all about, but watching that video at 11 years old just changed my life. And, you did so much, and I
You
thank you
said
so
at
much.
what years old?
11.
Oh,
I was
please,
11 years old.
please don't do me.
Well, look, I mean, for me getting hit with R&B music, it just goes to show you that you did something for the soul. You get what I'm saying? And I just
Yeah.
get so excited when I hear, music just coming from the heart. You get what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
you done for Avant in his career and Keke Wyatt for everything you done, it just goes to show you that your music is timeless. And for us to even be talking about Soul Sister today, I mean, the
Right.
20th anniversary is just crazy. Something that you produced, wrote, I mean, everything vocalized. I mean, your liner notes are all up and down on that
Right. Right.
album. Super excited, super super excited. Okay, so before we do get started, I
Uh-huh.
want to start with who you are as a person, because I always want to talk about you and everything else. But before we do get to that, I want to ask you, how have you been doing since the pandemic?
Um, I've been doing okay. It's that's a real question. That's a great question.
Yeah.
So I've lost a lot of people.
So sorry about that.
I've lost a lot of friends. That you would never think. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really been a rough time for
Yeah.
everybody. But
Yeah.
you can include me in that. As a producer and songwriter and creator,
Mm-hmm.
different kind of environment that I'm in.
Right.
I've been social distancing for years.
So
You
you
know what I'm
used to
saying?
this.
Because I'm very
Yeah.
introverted. I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm social, but really, like, when it boils down to it,
Yeah.
I'm my proximity to people is very limited, and so
Yeah.
through all of that, home studio, pop over here, studio,
Right.
home. And when I say home, I'm talking about bed, wake
Yeah.
up, make me some breakfast, back at the studio,
Wow.
come home, bring her home, send her off, then back up, back.
Right, but I mean, but it goes to show you that you have a life outside of this. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I try to stay active. And like I said, it's been hard, but God has been good to me
Yeah.
through it. Um,
Amen.
I've, survived, with, people around me, like close to me,
Yeah.
catching it, you know what I'm saying, not surviving it though, surviving it. And you know, I had a lot of close friends, musicians, you know what I'm talking about, musicians, not just family members and not just, you know, church folk and people that I know and, you know, artists and so on and so forth. But it's been really introspective too, to really understand, you know, how blessed it is. It really helped me even with my introversion that, you know, when we come out of it, which we haven't come out of it, but you know, that I wanted to give, I wanted to offer myself, you know, to things like this, to more interviews, to giving back, to not saying, you know, no to everything, because it's easy for me to, you know, like decline an invitation here or so on and so forth. So it's helped me to be, you know, like appreciative of life, and to really, you know, treat every day like it's, you know, it's my last, you know, and you know, but it's been cool. It's been cool. Things have been, you know, I honestly got to say I can't complain at all. And you know, so we got to press through. You know, who knows what's really happening, even though things are still opening up, closing, so on and so forth. We just, you know, we're gonna get through it and we're gonna be fine.
Yeah, we definitely are, because like I said, we still here and we ain't going nowhere. Exactly. And as long as you give us
I have no intentions of being gone no time soon.
Right, none of us doing. As long as you keep getting those timeless hits, I mean, you ain't got no choice, Mr. Steve. So you have no choice at all.
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. So definitely want to get started about, you know, your life and your career and who you are as a person. So I know you're from Evanston, Illinois. So with that, is that like close in Chicago territory? Is that around?
It's a northern suburbs. It's like it's like 20 minutes north of, you know, downtown. You know, Northwestern University. I live like, you know, you know, a couple blocks. That's in Evanston. Evanston is like a great city. Always have been, you know, born and raised there. And yeah, grew up in Evanston, and you know.
Yeah, definitely. So how did you get your love for R&B music? That's why I wanted to ask you, like in the background, like growing up in Evanston, did you like understand how the love of R&B, or how did you get it? Who were kind of like your inspirations?
Well, you know, how you know, I come from a I would say a musical family, but I'm a church baby, and I come from, you know, church is, you know, where it really all comes from. And it wasn't just a regular church, it's a Pentecostal church, but we had drums, bass, horn, percussion, piano, organ, synthesizer, you know, a real progressive like church where, you know, music was a big part of the ministry. The pastor played saxophone and keyboards, and you know, my mother was one of them prayer warriors, and she come to pray every week at 10 o'clock, and the pastor gave my mom a key and said, let that boy come in here and mess around on these instruments. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like church was the rehearsal and stumping ground for all of us. But at the same time, you know, my family was very musical. My father loved the blues. My sister, you know, introduced me to Earth, Wind and Fire, you know, when I was like, you know, 9, you know, or younger, you know. So, you know, Natalie Cole and, you know, the Isley Brothers. And, you know, I think that the one time that really like actually I knew music was something that I wanted to do is my sister had gave me the Harvest for the World album that the Isley Brothers, you know, Harvest for the World. Yeah. And it scared me. But it was so deep because Harvest and, you know, Rapture and talking about it. And I was young, and something about that music. That was when I knew that was something that I wanted to do. Also, my sister was playing violin. She wouldn't practice. She would, but she wasn't really into it. And I would always steal it and open it and break the string. And then I'd get not a whooping, but I'd get in a lot of trouble, and we go fix it. And she's taking her lessons, and, you know, I'm just being you know, a little boy running around playing football, whatever. And I come and sneak it and play it. And then she got over that, and she actually started playing guitar. Never would really play it, and I would take it and continually breaking strings. And one day my parents realized, like, wait a minute, she's she's messing with it, but he's
he's
great.
into it. You're into it.
I think that he, you know, and then it was like a Jewish auction, because up north there's a synagogue, a big synagogue, and they had those
Yeah.
those fundraisers. And one day I went with my dad, and you know, they raised up like a base, and they were like, so starting this base off at $50, and you know, everybody in their hair is white, didn't nobody want that, so there was no bid. And I was like, oh, Daddy, like, I want that. He's like, you want that? You know, and they'd be like, $50, 50 one's going twice. So
yeah.
so my dad like put a bass in my hand at 9 years old. Now the thing about my dad, who was the most amazing man ever lived on this planet, to me, you know, we get home and he's like, all the uncles was coming over, they putting their pistols down, they play that bass, boy. I'm like, Dad, you just got it from me yesterday.
Right.
What do you mean play it? Play that bass. And I did one of these. I did one of these, and I'm like,
wow. Come on, Steve.
And they all, yeah, play it. And that's how it started.
What?
Yes.
That is so. Okay, so Steve, I love how you talk about that. So you feel like with your dad was kind of teaching you discipline about something that you love.
Yeah.
And I'm learning about that with that. You found a niche in something that your sister didn't want to do, but you want to do. But I think with that, your dad was teaching you how something that if you're going to stick to something, keep it as your passion.
Absolutely.
And learning with that, I feel like, wow, he was like kind of preparing you for what's going to come your way. And I don't know if you could foresee it, but I feel like he could foresee it for you.
Yeah.
So with that, do you feel like your dad was kind of like the gateway to music, of learning how, okay, if I got this bass, and if I can pay this bass, then I can pay, you know, the drums and stuff like that. Because I know people like when they get so like musically inclined, because I know you're gifted, you get into this zone of music, and with that, you can play any instrument.
Yeah. I think that he had some sort of foresight. You know, he was a construction worker. We grew up middle class. You know, he was a foreman back in the 70s. Wasn't no black men foreman at one of the biggest Turner construction companies, biggest construction companies in the world, still to this day. And, but he loved music. So, you know, when he would drink, and his buddies or brothers, our uncles, will come around, and, you know, B.B. King and Bobby Blue Bland, and, you know, it was just music was all around. And I think that, you know, he taught me how to paint. He taught me how to lay concrete, how to sidewalks, I can fix anything. I'm a handyman, you know what I'm saying? I don't care what it is. I can fix it when it comes to stuff like that. But he never tried to lead me in that direction. I've always been fascinated by construction and stuff like that. But he put that bass in my hand. And then I had a very supportive, you know, family unit. I wasn't, you know, our household was, you know, we were church, but my mom and dad, you know, my dad really, you know, he was God, but he wasn't it. But we never had that. You can't play that R&B music in here. That we had the freedom to listen to what we wanted to. And so, you know, anything from, you know, Andre Crouch to, you know, all of the gospel, but then we had the blues playing, and like I said, my sister and you know my sisters, and so it was just music. Music was always around, and then we had a next door neighbor who Lester Brown, who was like another big like part of my life, you know, and what I was doing. And he used to have these guys come, and we would hear music, and we'd run over to his house, and he's got a guy. And he's playing bass. They ain't got no shirt on. They were, you know what I'm saying? They was just back there making music. So, you know, that's why I say, like, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
That's
because you say Evanston, not everybody's going to know it. It's claim to fame is Northwest University, but I mean, you know, it just gave me music, and I'm, you know, forever grateful, you know, for that upbringing. So, you know, my music history and love for music was just my entire childhood. We just had a rich appreciation for music, period.
Right. Man, that is just so dope. I love how you you talked about your artistics with that, because using that, I noticed with yourself, you took that into the gospel circuit. And I know you said your first breakthrough was with Fred Hammond and Commission. I thought it was so dope. And I
Yeah, yeah.
love how you said Richard Gibbs set you up. And I want you to talk about that and talk about how your big breakthrough was in the gospel circuit to
Yeah,
what you're
so
to now.
yeah, so after me being extremely diligent, I mean, no girls,
He was there. You were definitely, oh yeah. Your dad lives with me
no.
very well. Look.
I don't know if I was scared of girls or I was just into my instrument, but no girls. My friends, I just
Yeah.
stayed in the house and played bass. I would just play, and I would play to a record, and I would, like I had a little speaker, and I would try to figure out how to play these songs that I would hear, and
Yeah.
I really just, so okay, let me throw this in here. My dad passed away when I turned 14
Sorry
from a
about that.
massive heart attack. Yeah, and which was common for a lot of us young guys at that time. And, I think that I dealt with the pain and the loss of him, and I put it into my music. So, he knew, God knew, he was leaving, but he gave me everything that I needed that any father could give, to a child so when he passed, I kind of like went in whatever way, and I just put all of that energy into music. And then when playing at church one day, I brought my bass to church. Like I said, we would have musicians come, and it was a big, you came to our church, it was basically like the BET Awards.
Come on.
Back then, it was
the Stella Award.
I mean, it was in there rocking, like on a Sunday. The music was so intense. And I brought the bass to church, and they looked at me, and they was like, plug it up. And they let me play, and I'm messing up, making all of these mistakes, and they laugh, and whatever. So, and then one day, I remember I was like playing, and I turned the bass up, and it was kind of like a download from the Holy Spirit.
Come on.
From the energy, just like we download these iPhones. And one day the bass just made sense, and it was churning, not just, and I remember I got into.
Come on. Come on,
they're like,
hey. That is dope. They can't.
Let me tell you, all the mothers of the church, you know how many peppermints I got that day?
Probably 50.
I had a whole pocket full of peppermint.
Wow.
You couldn't tell me nothing, but something happened that day. Something happened that day.
That's right.
And I thank my church, and I thank God for that, and my dad, and all of that. And and then I just really got into it. And then, the keyboard player at the church was Carlos Moody, who is a acclaimed writer. He wrote, "I'm available to you. My storage is empty." He was who I was playing under. He was very hard on me, and I just learned. And then I'd end up playing for this, and then I end up playing at Northwestern, and then I play at Northwestern, and I play at this church and play at this church. And then it went on to the Thompson Community Singers, and Richard Gibbs, Percy Beatty, Milton Bronson, Kevin Bronson, Al Willis, Darius Brooks, Tyrone Block. The list goes on and on.
Ooh.
And that happened, and then time within that, I got an opportunity. Fred Hammond was going solo, and we had the same attorney. His attorney met me. The attorney was like, "Man, I want to introduce you to Fred." Come to find out, Fred was a fan of me as a bass player, as I was a fan of Fred, and as he was going solo, and I started doing production and messing with the MPC and stuff like that. And then I did a track, and he heard it, and he flew me to Detroit, and I was supposed to do one song, and I ended up doing like 4 songs and 2 songs on Dawkins and Dawkins, and this first single was called Unconditional. Unconditional. Your love is truly unconditional. I find it to be unconditional.
Did you sing on this gospel album?
I will let the world know it's unconditional.
Come on, come on.
That was the first song. That was my first song. That was the first song I did. It was the first song on the record, and that's when I was like, wow. Wow. And then that went on to Andre Crouch, and then that went on to Vanessa Bell, and then that went on to Yolanda Adams, and then that went on to Shirley Caesar, and you know, Donnie McClurkin, what's his name? I can't really. I played for
everybody. You play for everybody.
Look. Everybody.
Wow.
Everybody. Album, recording, tour, something in gospel music. What BB and CC. I did what's his name's first album. I can't remember. Never would have made it.
Marvin Sapp. I was going to say Marvin Sapp.
Right, I did Marvin Sapp's first album. I mean, you know, God blessed me to put me in positions to work with everybody that is icons. I remember when we were at an award show, a double award show, and I remember Kurt Franklin was running around trying to get us to listen to his CD, and we were like, man, he, you know, like it's like that.
Yeah,
it's like that. So we birthed a lot, you know. I could go on and on with that. And so gospel was the start.
Yeah.
You know, all the great artists, Mary, Faith, I mean, you know, Aretha, I mean, you know,
people that come from the church.
Church is where God prepares you for
that's right.
the world and for the industry. A lot of pastors and a lot of religious folk don't understand that transition when he said go into all the world, but that's really what he means.
Right.
You and know, that's
right. No, you could, Steve. What I was going to say was I feel like what I'm learning from you with this is like the gospel prepared you for the R&B circuit, because like we always say, gospel church is the foundation of how everything starts with each genre. Absolutely. And a lot of people don't understand that with hip hop and stuff, it comes from those roots and background of the gospel music. You know what I'm saying? The beats, the drums, the bass.
Absolutely.
All this stuff comes from an instrument, from what I've learned, because I remember back in my year, I took a hip hop class, but what I understood from hip hop is gospel started it all for each genre to be where they at. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, God don't play. I mean, you know, God gives opportunity and gives, you know, creativity, and you know, I've never tried to be, you know, I'm a Christian bass player or Christian musician. I'm a musician that is a believer. Amen. And I am a follower. And that's a lot of that really is really just it's preparation. It's preparation for the game. And I mean, when you really look at the industry, and you know, COVID stopped a lot of touring, and of the top musicians are not only from Chicago, but they are straight out of the church.
Very true. Yep.
So, you know, the whole mandate of the church is to train them up and send them out.
Yep, train up the child. Look, okay, you about to speak a word.
Oh, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, that's really what it's all about. So I can't stand when people start to rebuke people and make people feel bad because God gave them a gift and think that they're supposed to stay in, you know, some corner of a city and play the rest of their life there. For some, that is the case, but God will call. Many are called, but few have chosen to go out there to the place that, and you know, your average person is the devil and the Lord ain't in that, and you going to hell. And I dealt with
we all have
all that, but at a young age, at a long F them kids.
Right.
I'm gone. You know. So you know, music is my life. Music is my life, you know.
It is, and music is a spiritual thing.
Yeah, and it started from, you know, gospel, and I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful for it. You know, I'm so grateful for that.
Right, and I know I'm so happy you talked about that. So now leading into that, I'm starting to understand with the gospel circuit, with you getting into that. Now you're kind of going with that, using your gift of bass and stuff, and now using that, you're going into this R&B realm. So with that, how did you kind of get your start with Keke? But at the same time, how did you get in the realm? Did you do with Avant first and then you jump to Keke, or how did it kind of switch?
It's funny. Like I mentioned, my attorney, you know, he lived in Indianapolis, His name is Max. At the time, was Max Siegel, and I remember I was going back and forth so much that I got a place there, and I had a place here in Chicago, and so a friend of mine's, Chris Kelly, who passed away last year, like an amazing songwriter. You know, wrote for the OJs, wrote for Jill Levert, all of that. You know, Babyface and all of them is from the deal. That's all Indianapolis,
all Indiana.
Yeah, which is like 2.5-hour drive, and so we have built a studio there, and I was working there and working here, and just going back damn near every other weekend. I was going, you know, making that ride, making that run, and this guy, Chris Kelly, introduced me. He's like, man, you got to hear this girl, man. She's from here, and I don't know no other way out, man. You know, you got to like, and I was like, okay. And I think it was a dirt road.
Oh, wow.
I don't even know where it was, but I know it was a dirt road. But on that dirt road was a diamond in the rough.
Come on. And
that's
how God do it.
We finally go meet her. She sings, and I'm sitting there like, her mom and dad is, and I'm saying, I remember this is what I said. I said, I don't really want to, you know, I don't want to make a commitment that I can't keep. I was like, but I'm going to let you know that whatever it takes for me, I'm going to make sure that the world hears you.
Come on. Ooh.
Now, that was a lot. That was a lot to say. And, you know, we get bombarded with artists and people and all that. But I proved it, because the way that girl sings, there are so many great singers in the world. But I would never, ever want to stand toe-to-toe on any stage and sing with or after. I wouldn't even want to sing before her. It was the same thing. All of those clips that she made, she just was singing and just was, you know, and you know, I grew up in church and all of that. So I had Keke like for maybe a year and a half. I started like cutting stuff on her, and then I went on tour. When I went on tour with R. Kelly, Avant's manager was always on tour. We kind of did a double world tour. We did overseas, and then we took a little time off, did the American side, and then we went back. And I used to see this guy, his name is Eric Payton, great guy, and he was managing Avant. And we got off tour, and I remember I was dating Sparkle at the time. And me and Sparkle were down Michigan Avenue shopping, and we were walking, and I see him. I'm like, yo, that's the guy that he's like, yo, Steve. So we crossed the street, and he's like, man, I got this artist I want you to hear, man. I mean, you know, man, I remember you on tour, man. You know, you playing the bass, and man, bro, like, you do producing. I'm like, you're like, yeah, I write it, you know, sings, man. I want you to hear this guy. You mind if I call him? I'm like, yeah, call him. He called him. Avant sings over the phone. Well, no, he played a demo for me and was like, these demos, they're not really that good, but I'm like, just play it. I can hear past a bad demo. And I heard his voice, and I was like, man, he's a vibe. I'm like, man, okay. You know, he's like, can I call him? I'm like, yeah. He called him, got on the phone. He's, you know, Avant always he would just start singing. Like that whole thing about don't be afraid to sing. And, you know, he would drop everything and start singing. So he starts singing me songs and melodies and stuff. And he's just like, man, I just appreciate you taking out your time. I was like, listen, I'm gonna do 3 tracks, and then I'm gonna have you come to Chicago, and we're gonna cut it. So I was living in Indianapolis at the time. So I remember I went back. I had did like 3 joints, 3 things. I called him over the phone. We were technically writing stuff over the phone just from conversation. It really got serious. And so then it came time for him to come. He came to Chicago. I came. We cut the song. The first song we cut is I Want to Know If You Want Me, Baby. Tell me, babe. Do you feel the need for love?
Come on. Man, Steve, that is so amazing.
Listen, I said, okay. So R. Kelly's engineer, who was also my engineer at the time, name is Peter Mokrin. I sent it to him to hear it because we were going to get it mixed. And he was like, it was around Christmas time. He was like, you know what, man? He's in LA mixing for Meatloaf and R. Kelly and the biggest artist, the biggest artist in the world. We like this to this day.
Right. Aww.
He's like, man, I got to come see my mom for Christmas. I'm going to spend Christmas there, man. Listen, I want to mix that. I'm going to mix that stuff for you for free.
What?
Now, he was like $7,000, $8,000 per song.
Oh.
But what he heard, what I did on Avant and heard Avant, he just was like, yo, man, I'm going to be in so forth and whatever. Actually, he really wasn't even talking about money. And he booked a studio called Streeterville, one of the bigger studios, one of the top studios here. He booked the studio, flew all of his gear in. You know, back in the day, you had to fly your shit in.
Yeah, because this ain't.
Yeah, you had to pay. You had to pay for weight and all of that.
Oh, wow.
He flew all his stuff in, mixed that project. And see, it takes a village. It's not all me.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of people at play. A lot of people. I mentioned Eric Payton. I mentioned even Sparkle. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Stephanie Edwards Sparkle. I've been knowing Sparkle. She was 16. So it was a collective. You know, of how the game really works. That energy.
That's right.
And we went to play it at WGCI at the time, and I forget the program director, broke everybody that's been broken, from Alicia Keys to R. Kelly to oh my God, I'm gonna catch hell for not remembering. Lord Jesus, come on now, Lord. Anyway, if you could break in Chicago, you could break anywhere. Number one station. Number one, every station around the country formatted their radio station playlist after WGCI. So if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. And he heard that song and he was like, this is amazing. And I remember he's like, do you mind if we, you know, start adding? I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I remember they would start stuff at the evening at 11:30, and they would see and test. And I remember I listened, I heard it come on over the radio, and I heard this cab driver call. He was like, Avant, you know, local artist, produced, man, or whatever. He's like, man, let me know how y'all feel. And I remember a cab driver called back, and he was like, excuse me, what could you play it one more time? Could you play it one more time? And the guy was like, the DJ was like, oh, well, I think that we can do that. And they played it again. The next day we woke up, it was in medium rotation. By the third day, it was going into heavy rotation, and he was being played locally here, along with, and it went to a top 5, to a top 4. So, you know, labels started calling. We were going to labels. We were doing this, going here, phone ringing, MCA, Def Jam, Jive. Everybody was trying to sign it in. Something would happen. They would talk to someone, and someone would have shut the deal down, and nobody wanted to talk. Wow. And the last deal we had was with MCA Records. They were ready to go. They had Mary, they had Tevin Campbell, they had, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And the same thing happened. We got numbers to folk, crib, they boat high, all that, and then we're not interested. Wow. What happened is Magic Johnson did a label deal with MCA. Peter Mokrin was in LA. Magic Johnson's assistant heard the song, went back to the office, was playing it in the morning. Magic Johnson walked in the door and was like, who in the fuck is that? Oh, okay. That's what I'm talking about. Exactly. The phone, voicemail, text, flip, you know what I'm saying? Two-way pager. We was in LA. Wow. Put me up in his Continental T with the top down, the whole deal. Went to the label. Randy Jackson was vice president. He was a fan of me as a bass player, and I was a fan of him with Journey. Wow. Did the deal. So it was actually one day they didn't want us, but the publishing deal happened with Magic, and that's how Avant got signed. So when I produced Avant's record, And then we came with his second single. I said, I want to do a duet and piggyback Keke, which is the closing of the story of the loop. I had her for a year and a half, almost 2 years. So then I put her on that song. And then when Separated came out, Avant went #1 and
Blew
went
up.
platinum. And the next single was Keke, the duet. And that way I would introduce Keke. And so immediately from the success of that, My First Love, Keke's got her deal. And then I was writing all of Keke's music. And then, you know, Nothing in This World.
Don't even get me started. Do not get me started. But My First Love was the one. My First Love will forever be the one. Because, Steve, from me to you, that's the first time I ever heard. I didn't even know it was a remake until years later.
Right.
And so you're the one that really introduced me to that song. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's funny because on my podcast, we actually broke down the song on my episode. So if you ever want to take a look, we actually broke down the song to My First Love. I mean, it's just something you did with her. And you had Keke, and I wanted to talk to you about that. You had Keke when she was a teen. She was young, and people do not know that.
Yeah, she was able to sign, so she was at least 18. She was young, though. She might have been younger.
So when you discovered her, was she 14 or 15?
She was like 15, 16, something like that. She was always somewhere in between. But yeah,
but thinking like that, I can't.
And she was more crazy then. And I mean, I'm talking about vocally.
Vocally, wow.
Talk about here.
Right, wow.
And I, you know, I had been doing some work. I had met with Angela from Renee and Angela, and you know, Ronald Isley, and I was about to, you know, do some work with them, and Brian was married to Angela.
Yeah, Angela.
She, you know, I grew up off of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All of her music, all of her and Angela and Renee, the guy, whatever. And me and Avant just sat down and was like, man, let's do a remake. And my job as a producer was not to try to make the song better, but was to mimic the verse, the identical verse. I played everything, replayed it identical, but I brought in Tom, who did Phil Collins, Earth, Wind and Fire, Susu Studio, all of that. He did the string arrangements, the horns arrangements. This guy was from Chicago. Boy, if I talk about everybody from Chicago. So anyway, he's like, yeah, man, you need to bring me in, man. Have me do something. I was like, really? I was like, I have something I want you to hear. He came in, heard it, sent me the song. He wrote the score.
Wow.
Brought in the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. I come in my studio. I done bought Battery Studios, and which was Jive Record, you know, whatever. And I come in, and all these men's walking in, white hair, walking in, 70 years old, you know, and they're all, and then,
wow. They made it so modern.
Silhouette of a perfect friend. Label heard that.
A rap.
And then imagine Keke on top of that. And Avant always was glitter and glass.
Yeah.
And God just got in between all of that. It made that happen.
Right. And to me, I feel like I feel like they were my modern Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell.
Absolutely.
I've always said that. I've said that since the age of 13. I knew when I think of them two, they remind me so much of them in so many ways. And I feel like you were kind of like the Quincy Jones of them created that, because for people like that, a lot of people can't get a lot of duets. And I think because you were kind of like the creator of all this, pretty much you did, Steve. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I got to give you respect, because for you to make their voices mesh so well, even though Keke is a stronger voice, even though Avant has his voice too, but Keke's a little bit stronger. You made them mesh so well, it even sounded like they were overpowering each other. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's why I respect about the musicianship of what you've done for so much for those two alone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You really brought them into the 2000s. That's why I say you brought them to the 21st century and showed people that there are people that really can sing no matter what age and range they are. But not even that. You brought them from all the way up to the Midwest and brought them to across the world and showed that they really, really can do it. And one of my friends, he said blending. We don't talk about blending.
Yeah.
People can't blend.
It's a science to that, but I credit that to, you know, church and you know,
Amen.
my upbringing and knowing how, you know, what do you do as a producer when you get a Keke Wyatt and an Avant at a
Right.
microphone and
Come
you
on.
have to write, produce, and
Ugh.
create a song.
Ooh.
Now, honestly, you actually making me actually think, because I really haven't thought much about it, but like that was some
Yeah.
amazing.
And it was very rare. Like I'm be honest with you, looking back at it a lot. I mean, the '90s was huge, you know, with music and stuff with ballads. But I think when the 2000s came around, it was very rare you seen a duet type of thing. And
Yeah.
like I said, you know, if I was coming against Jaheim, Tank, like these people
Oh
were
yeah.
coming through. So
Oh
you know
yeah.
you had
Oh
to make
yeah.
a way for him.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh
All
yeah.
these #1 records with Avant and with Keke, they would come out and they would spend months on the charts from #1 to 5 to 10. With
Ooh.
Jay-Z, when shit changed, tempos changed,
Yep.
you still saw Avant. You know, R. Kelly was there, but Avant,
Avant.
Keke, Avant, 5, 7, 6, 3, 2, #1,
Come
go
on.
back down. So I won all of those BMI awards
Yeah,
and
you did.
all of those because of the longevity of these songs that were able to contend
Wow.
and stay relevant in that whole time on those charts all over the country. And like
Yeah.
to this day, you know, we can see that, you know, classic music. I mean, I grew up on them.
Come
I've
on.
always intended to try to make sure, you know, that anything that I do
Yeah.
wasn't going to be something that was just going to be played for a time
That's
and
right.
fizzle out and go,
That's right.
and go away. And so, you know, thankfully, all of this music is still relevant today. You know.
Right. And now since we're getting to talk about the Soul Sister, the 20th anniversary today, and I know you were getting ready to talk about Nothing in This World, but I know that was actually the second single. I'm kind of shocked because I didn't know that because the first time I heard of Keke's album was Nothing in This World. So you did,
Right.
they released Used to Love was the one you did. They
Right.
did that first, and I think they were kind of, to me, when I looked and observed it, it reminded me kind of like a Mary J. Blige type of Faith Evans
Yeah.
type of
Yeah. It was
thing.
kind of that time. Yeah.
So in
And
that time, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I mean, I had produced that whole project.
You
So
did.
what a lot of people thought was that it was an Avant song, but it actually
Wow.
was the introductions to Keke, and it was her first single.
Makes
And I
sense.
think we had it on both albums, or maybe we did. I think we didn't. I think it was just on her album, but it was her first single. And I think we tested some stuff with Used to Love, but that we knew that was going to be the song, that we would just kind of carry that duet thing that worked with Avant, and now let's give Keke her shine and you support her, and that's kind of where that happened.
That makes so much sense. That makes so much sense because I think a lot of people, they always want to overshadow them, but I think they never overshadow each other. I think they just work together because they know how to sing together. You know what I'm saying? Because you made it work. And I feel like with Nothing in This World, I mean, when I heard that, it was a wrap. I was like, they need to do an album because I knew when I heard that song, Nothing in This World, it was one of the most beautiful love ballads at that time. And it was crazy because, you know, in this year, in 2001, you know, we had September 11th, you know, the passing of Aaliyah. Like, we had so much stuff going on at that time for us to, like, try to get music to go on. But something about that song, I remember around Christmas time when I heard that, I was like, this touched me because it was such beautiful, you know, melody ballad. When you first jump in on the lyrics, I'm like, okay, I hear Avant. Where's Keke? There you go, Keke. There she go. I'm like, bam. But the bridge. Can we talk about the bridge? Because the bridge you did on there, I don't understand because I'm going to be honest with you. And Steve, I kind of told you a little bit, but I didn't tell you too much. But the bridge is one of the most iconic bridges I have seen because that bridge alone is really, I don't know if you have seen this, but a lot of people have used it as a karaoke wedding proposal.
Yeah.
I have two people I had watched. Last year was a guy. He had actually proposed to his girlfriend in Abu Dhabi. Across the world on the other side to this song. Not even that. My hometown in Louisiana, New Orleans, another guy, they did this as a karaoke song. He proposed to his pregnant girlfriend.
Wow.
And they have taken this song all across the world and they made this a hit. But not even just that, it's 20 years later and they have used it as a wedding proposal. So how do you feel about stuff like that? You know what I'm saying?
Did they say yes?
Yes, they did. And they're married to this day. Well, when they get to that part, the guys, they go on one knee. and they
Right.
just, and the girls just break down and cry. But not even that. How do you feel that your song is used as a wedding proposal karaoke song? You know what I'm saying? That's big. A lot of
You
people
know,
don't. Yeah.
when I was writing, when coming up with the bridge, I was like, this is the. I remember vividly that this is the moment to explain why there's nothing in this world
Come
that I
on.
wouldn't do, which is what a bridge is supposed to do.
Come
A
on.
bridge is supposed to just, you go home the same way, but sometimes you just take a scenic route, but you always know you're going to, your destination. So that in that bridge at that time, I'm like, I want y'all to actually express your heart to one another with these lyrics and sing them like you know what I'm saying? And the lyrics are slipping my mind exactly, but
I
they
think it's
were
about
singing
time
it.
when I
They were
make you mine.
singing, yeah, they were singing it like they were trying to one up one another to
Yeah.
be like, I can see it, but I say,
Mm.
let it.
Okay,
There's
look.
some things to say.
Is it really what I think? Don't take all day.
Yes.
Forever
I do for
get to
you.
you. So what do you say, baby? I do.
And then she had the nerve to go.
Okay. Right.
Lord Jesus, where they at? I need to do another duet album on
Come
them.
on. But
Lord.
Steve, how do you feel that it hit Abu Dhabi? Like Abu
It's
Dhabi. That's huge. That's all
yeah,
across the
yeah.
world.
Yeah, the music, like the music is played, like reported, is played in some
Yeah.
of the most incredible places that you would never think. I've never heard of, countries
Wow.
I've never ever knew even existed, and they
Amen.
still get a lot of play over there. So, it's a beautiful feeling. I mean,
Yeah.
that was the intent, was to have people in their car. Because I remember I said that. I said, when a man and a woman is in their car, I want them to be able to say it to one another while they're driving.
Oh.
Or if he's where he's at and she's where she's at,
Come on.
they can take that in and add that to partner. Maybe they're going through a fight. Maybe they're dealing with
Yeah.
some kind of issue. Somebody's getting on one another's nerves. But maybe it can pull people to see, like, this is my
Yeah.
baby. There's nothing in the world I wouldn't do, and
Amen.
so on and so forth. So this was intentional, and it was intentional. And I'm so happy that,
Oh.
it's had whatever effect that it's had, bringing
Yeah.
people together. We as a community, we got to come together.
Come on.
And I'm not talking about we just got to come together. I'm saying families. We got to
That's right.
we got to have that nuclear family. We got to be together.
Yes.
Forever together for, you know what I'm saying? And,
Yeah.
and endure, the hard times and, and all of that. And so that song was really like, that was the initial start. Like, okay, what I would normally do is, if Avant's flying in or whatever, he's going to be coming in next month, and I'm preparing what it's going to be, make some music, make some tracks, and he come off the plane and come to the studio and be like, press play. And then we just start vibing, or he might have something, a hook or something like that. And I just remember he was here, and I just picked the guitar up and was dun 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 dun, and it was like that song wrote so fast.
Read your mind.
Reach reach your mind. That's not for another.
Oh yeah. Well, nothing in this world. You talking about that? Yeah, definitely.
But nothing in this world, yeah. And it was just like, oh my God, oh my God. It was a synonymous across the board when people heard it. I think you said it. It was bringing two people together.
Yeah.
With those gifts and those voices, and being able to harness and produce the two of them. And I just remember, it wasn't like, I'm going to cut a whole bunch of stuff on you and a whole bunch on you, and then I'm going to figure it out. No. We put two mics.
That's right.
You going to go, and your line is going to go, and your line is going to go.
Right.
Your line is going to go. And that's how it went. That's why it had that feeling.
Yeah.
That's why I had that feeling. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, Stephen. And it was another thing too. Also, I don't know if you've seen this. Like 2 weeks ago, 21 Savage, the rapper, he had Keke perform at his venue, and she sung "Nothing in This World" to him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like, it's hitting other people in different ages, but at the same time, it's still hitting into a way where it's talking about love. You know
it's still relevant. These kids love them.
And shout out to you, congratulations, because Summer Walker sampled your song. So I gotta clap. Let me give you some claps for that, sir.
Thank you, Lord.
It's the best R&B album of the year. So how do you feel that Summer Walker has used your sample of this song?
It's crazy. You know, it's crazy. I've been getting like a lot of calls, you know, my attorney,
Come
like
on.
a lot of people have been, you know, I heard, you know, Jeremiah got something coming. I heard Gunna got something coming with all samples of my song. And you know, my daughter's in Atlanta. She's 15. So she's connected to the pavement. You know, she knows everything that's going on. And she's just like, Dad, you know, your song number 4 just to knock number 3, it just knocked the Dale to number 4.
Yeah, then you knocked out. Y'all knocked
And
out.
I'm saying, okay, because I'm not keeping up with it like that. I was washing clothes and one of my artist friends called me and was like, man, congratulations. I was like, what? And he was just saying, you know, I was like, oh, okay. And it, you know, heard it sounded, you know what I'm saying, but it is what it is. I mean, my daughter said this the other day. She said, Daddy, first off, Avant is our R. Kelly. And always, hold on, wait a minute now. Not the other thing, but just as an artist, as an influence, like you know, she's like, he is our like separated, you know, his whole catalog. And she was just basically, you know, she was talking about like, you know, she said something, you know, kids say the darndest things. She said, Dad, 20 years ago, you made a song and you was asleep in the bed, and the top 5 producers in the country, London on the Track, I forget the 5 that are on there, but they're all top producers. And she's like, they got in a room while you were asleep and was like, we got to use, she said, my dad's music.
That's dope.
And I said, now, you know what?
She was right.
From that perspective, and she's just like, you know, in Atlanta, that's all they're playing. But the record just went number 1.
Yep.
I mean, it's really beautiful. It's beautiful. I can't really complain. It's weird, but I get it.
Yeah.
And I'm all for it. And I just feel blessed.
Come on, Steve. And that's why, you know, I have to give people like you your flowers, because what you have done for so many people, like your daughter's 15. I'm 32. But I can still remember this song at 12 years old and it still hit me. You know what I'm saying? And and it's crazy because one of my favorite songs that you wrote and produced by Avant, and nobody talks about this, which I don't understand, but I'm happy I got you on my platform. But I Wanna Be. I Wanna Be is my favorite Avant song from the private room. I don't care what nobody say. I met a lady, I was at a store one day and we were talking about Avant or something like that, and I had brought up a song. I said, one of my favorite Avant songs is I Wanna Be. This woman screamed to the top of her lungs. I thought she was crazy. I was like, what's wrong? She was like, that's going to be my wedding song when I get married. You get what I'm saying? Because nobody talks about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I love I Wanna Be. It's another To Me Nothing in This World version, type of version. But it's just Avant on there. But it's beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that same idea. Let's talk to the ladies, man. Let's tell them, like, I want to be there. Even though we know we're not going to be and we're going to mess up, but we can at least proclaim and try to be, you know what I'm saying? I want to be. So let's pick everything that a person would a woman would want you to be, and let's just say that. And so
I Wanna Be is everything. I don't care what nobody say. That I heard that song when I was 14.
Man.
And I was like, it's a rap. I love Avant. His whole catalog is amazing.
Yeah, his catalog is, you'll be surprised. I mean, he got like all of his, what they call them, sleepers like that. Where people is like, they stream and they play all over the place all the time. It's dope. It's dope.
It's beautiful. But well, since we talk about it, now we're back on Keke. Another song I did like by Keke is Don't Take Your Love Away. I feel like, I don't know if you intentionally did that, because I mean, it did sound like I like her version, but I didn't know that you did one for Avant too. So when I realized, I'm like, okay, I like Don't Take Your Love Away.
Right.
Then you rapped on Bad Boy. I was like, wait a minute. You rapping, you got 16s? I'm like, wait a minute. So, like, what made you come up with the rap, but not even that, like these songs for Keke for her album, for the stuff that you did for Soul Sister?
The stuff that I did, this is what happened a lot, being from Chicago.
Yeah.
You know, at the time, I was working. Like I said, now, I'm always in the studio. I'm always working. So, you know, they were trying to make up, you know, stuff. You know, we're going to try to put you with this person and fly you here and fly you there and so on and so forth. And we really wanted to try to make that happen. But I was making so much music that we were pumping out. So it really wasn't, you know, we work, go to the club that night, get back up, work, go next day, work, maybe go grab something to eat. But we were working. So it was really by default, we just ended up with records. And when it came time, they was like, pick them songs, mix them. And that's kind of how that ended up me doing it. So even when it came to rapping, it was like, okay, can we get Bust on this? Can we get Whatcha on this? And then it turned around. Vaughn like, nigga, you rap. You can rap. And I'm like, I mean, technically, maybe nobody will ever hear it.
We heard it. Look.
Maybe nobody will ever hear it. But yeah, we were just getting them records done. And the label was like, man, you all do y'all's thing. Don't nobody fuck with them.
Come on.
Y'all make y'all music. You know, the label, we want her to wear, well, he's got to do everything. It just turned, you know, the president was like, why are y'all messing with something that's working? So
come on.
We felt, you know, encouraged to just go ahead on, put it out there and drop it. So, you know.
And I feel like stuff like that, and that's what I always want to tell people about record labels. You have to let artists be artists and let the producers and everybody find their own niche. You know what I'm saying? Because when you try to do something that you think is popular to you, it's not going to gravitate to the people because the people know what they want. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So like for me, if I'm hearing My First Love by Keke Wyatt, and I know Keke is coming back like with something, I definitely want to hear a record by her and Avant, but I want to hear Keke's voice as well. And I'm going to tell you, if you only knew, you did that Patty Bricks, I don't care. That's another one. I feel like that should have got released. To me,
don't make me.
Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started because
don't get me upset because that was coming.
Yeah,
but she unfortunately got herself into some stuff and we couldn't make it go. But you already know that.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the baddest
remakes
that could have ever. And to this day, let us say to this day, to this day, you will play that record and your whole soul will be moved. Your whole energy will be shifted into a beautiful place by that song. She still sings the song everywhere she goes, like it's her. I'm telling you, Renee and Angela thank me. You have reignited our career. We getting calls to sing everywhere. They would start to play that song and then play their version behind it. It used to be they were doing so much stuff, but that song, Patty, gave her blessings because that girl sang that song. Man, it never got to get what it deserved.
I know. I was so hurt, but you know, life happens. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like no matter what has happened, you know, it still became successful. You know, it peaked, like you said, it peaked number 5 on R&B charts. It peaked number 33 on the 200 charts. So she made a success and it hit gold. So how did you feel when it became successful? Steve, you did your job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It just felt good. It always feels good to do something, you know, and people appreciate it and people can relate to it. And I've never been like really moved by numbers, awards and numbers and stuff like that. Which I think now, when I look back in retrospect, maybe I should have. But it was definitely accomplishment, and that record is that you know, when I talk about growing up, and my dad and my sister and Earth, Wind and Fire and all of that, I ended up working with all of these people.
Come on, you spoke it in fruition.
I ended up working with these people, and the records and the stuff that I seen them have in my lifetime, I have made not just platinum plaques, platinum artists and platinum, but these are some of the top.
Come on.
Never ever to be mistaken. Always will be played.
Come on.
That's will forever be sampled.
Come on.
My stuff gets sampled all the time.
Yeah, Jacquees.
Jacquees. I mean, you know, it's little iterations in a lot of records, so I'm constantly clearing mechanicals and clearing licenses and all of that. But I know that these guys that I work with, like, it ain't just no, you know what I'm saying? It ain't just, it's not just the typical, who is the hot person, who was the so-and-so person. These
Yeah.
people, when you think of Frankie Beverly and Mays, when you think of the Isley Brothers, when you think of, you know, all of these, like, people that we love and they can't,
Casey and the
you know,
Sunshine Band. I mean, everybody.
everybody, yeah, they will be
Yeah.
inducted in that. They're not won't be, they are. They're known as this is some classic music. And I'm
Yeah.
just so happy to be a part of it. I mean, they're like just amazing, talented. And Keke, you know, Keke is a lot. First, she's a woman.
Yes.
And y'all know.
We a lot, honey. Look.
Y'all know y'all is a lot.
Yes.
Y'all know y'all are a lot.
Yeah.
You
But
know.
that comes with it. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're an artist.
Yeah. You know, she's sick, you sick, we sick. Her boyfriend broke up, he broke up with us. It's just different.
Yeah, it is.
We crazy too, you know, but you know, to have all of that talent, anybody in music is crazy. So I'm crazy too. Anybody that chooses to be in the entertainment industry is crazy. So yeah, you know, I'm not trying to be funny and point fingers or anything like that, but I mean, to have that voice.
Yeah.
I'll get her in the studio and she be getting to the mic and, you know, okay, I'm going to be a little bit transparent.
Yeah.
Almost having to take off my belt.
What?
Thing. I don't like that part. I didn't like the way I did it. If you don't take your little ass in that damn, you know.
Yeah.
Talented. You seen her on her show.
Yes, I did.
You seen her on her. Keke is the most beautiful, most sweetest, most talented. She's a freak of nature, and I say that in a good way. I say that in a way of,
I know exactly.
Respectful. Not that I'm trying to be inappropriate anyway.
No,
you know, and she just needs to come back and get.
Yeah.
She needs to come back
and they try, and don't get me wrong, they tried with you and I, because I know with that they tried that duet thing, and it always works. And that's why I said, Steve, y'all should have did a duet. I don't care. Y'all should did a Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell.
We're actually still her manager. You know, we talk from time to time. We've been trying to like make that thing happen, but you know, it can happen, and and we are trying to make it happen. If it doesn't, it's cool. But if they gonna get that, you know what I'm saying? If they gonna, I mean, you know, Avant, you know, I say every time I see you, I get a bad vibe.
Separated.
Just thinking of someone else in between your time. And if I never see you again, I won't be mad at all. Who had the nerve to say that?
Yeah. You did. Yeah.
So
that's why a lot of those are important.
Yeah, but we need another separated.
We do. Especially
today,
in this culture.
we really need one. It might be another one. I would love to get Avant to the mic, but you know, I mean, we gotta.
Yeah.
A Keke. Ooh-wee. It takes a master to get to harness all of that talent at a microphone to some chords. You can't bring her in there no.
And I feel like you taught her that too. You taught her a lot too. You taught her a lot, Steve. And that's why I think she's taking that now. Yeah, and I think they both do. And I think what I've learned from what you're saying about both of them is that they really, I think sometimes when the teacher has taught the students, they fly.
Yeah, exactly. And yes, absolutely. Yeah. And they're doing their thing. And I'm, you know, I mean, a lot of times I think about the records that could have been made.
Yeah.
And that's the thing when I look back now, all of that, though the music that could have been made that have not been made, you have to come back and get it from who made it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I put my hands in the
No, I know exactly what you're doing because I feel like, and I think that's why a lot of people, when you have chemistry with people,
Right.
especially chemistry, and it's like magic. And
Right.
sometimes I talk about with the Brandy and Rodney thing sometimes because for me, Brandy's one of my favorite artists, and I know Brandy
Right.
and Rodney they make magic. But
Right.
sometimes I think when people branch out and want to be artists or do
Right.
their thing, sometimes it can either make them or break them. And I
Right.
think for Keke in her sense, for her it kind of made her in some way, but at the end of the day, she didn't have that same success like you did with her from the beginning of her career. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Well, it takes a lot of focus, and Kiki's
True.
doing a lot of things like with the shows. I think that's great. She
Yeah.
actually came here middle of COVID. She did a show for a friend of mine's wife's birthday. She came in and sang,
Aww.
and she. I mean, it was like we never parted. We hugging and we kissing, and we her new husband, and we all vibing, and we talking about trying to get together. So
Yeah.
if it happened.
And see, you need to do a duet with her. I think it'd be dope if you do a duet with her.
Oh
I think it'd be
Lord
dope.
Jesus, Lord.
You have a voice though. You do have a voice. You do.
I mean, I always sang what I wrote. I've always, nobody really. My kids made me do the album that I did, but I've never really desired to really. I was doing "Treat Her Like a Lady" on Joe, and
Yeah,
I
which is
remember
dope.
Joe was at the mic, and he was like, "Yeah, man, this song, so it ended up." He recorded this album, and then it was the last song, which ended up being the first single.
Right,
And
right.
he was like, "Man, who's singing this? Like, who's singing your demos?" And I was like, "That's me." He was like, and I was like, "I want you to do you. Forget what's." He was like, "I'm doing every single damn thing." I said, "What?" He's like, "No. I would never met." I'm like,
Oh
okay. He's
wow.
like, "Man, you need to do an album. Why are you not
That's
doing?" I'm
right.
like, and at that time, I was high. Nigga, album. I ain't like trying to do no damn album. Nigga, sing. Let's go. Let's blah blah blah. Went on back to work, and then when I worked with Ronald Isley, Mr. Biggs,
Right on that
these were
cassette,
the
man.
two. These were the two people, and he was like, man. So when you write, who does because if it wasn't Avant, then it wasn't Avant singing. It would be me having to write the song, sing it, and then it'd be okay, I like it, but it's just who's saying. I was like, I sang it, and him and Ernie is like, I want to sign you to T-Neck. I want to sign you to my record label, Ronald said. And I said, yeah, okay. And he got met back. We working for about 30 days, and he's just like, man, so I got a kind. I was like, man, I'm not. He said, you a fool. He said, you a effing fool.
Oh, he cussed you out. Look.
He cussed me out. He said, you supposed to do these, and then you supposed to hold 6 or 7 for yourself. And I'm coming to you, and you telling me no?
I get what he was
Who
telling
the fuck
you.
you think we went through that whole thing, and I was like,
I get it.
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
So I always got that, but I never, maybe I should have.
But
when they say regrets, I sometimes, I don't have no regrets. I got plenty of regrets.
But I think, too, what I've learned about you, though, Mr. Huff, you're a visionary. And so with that, you have the vision to see things that a lot of people can't see for other artists. That's why I feel like with Keke, what you did with her, for you going to Indianapolis and finding her on that dirt road, you've seen something in her. A lot of people wouldn't have took that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the gift that you have.
I've always been behind the scenes. I like behind the scenes. I told you I'm an introvert.
You're
I'm
an introvert.
Alpha. I'm a Sigma type of personality. Like I'm not trying to be up in front of you. Hey, girl. You know what I'm saying? But I could do it, but I never really, that's really, maybe I should have. Maybe I should just, I still could do it. But I mean, my sweetest place is, I don't be on the gram. I don't be posting. Maybe I need to change some of these things. But yeah, pray for me.
Well, I found you. So, I mean, hey, it worked.
Yeah. They be, I'm connected to folk and DM and whatever, but yeah, I just always been, I mean, my boss, I would love to just, always, kind of like create and
create, because that's what you are, a creator and a visionary. And that's what I've learned. That's what I wanted to ask you. Like, what is your favorite thing that you like doing? Do you like singing, producing, songwriting or composing? Like, what is your thing? Which one would you have to pick out of? Which one is your favorite?
All of the above, but probably, number one is right, because I just hear melodies. So
Come on.
melodies is how you make a hit. If you can sing it, and they can sing it, you got a good shot.
Come
And that's
on.
so you come in and I just wanna make a song you will wanna hear. You know what I'm saying? I just
That's
want to
dope.
make a song that you can move your body to. Yeah, I just want to
Like a
make a
two-step.
song that you grew and not to. I can just go all day. You can name something and I can make a melody out of it. And so that's kind of my thing. So when I come in, it's like just drop my hand down. I make a melody, add a bass, add some drums, some this and that, some little sprinkles, and that's my favorite thing. That's what I do every day.
And you got a lot of people in the comments saying "Stone as I go." That is just so sweet because you really did a lot for a lot of people.
I really appreciate it. I have a hard time with all of that, my kids.
What,
Yeah,
man?
and I'll be like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I appreciate it. I
thank God that you did do that. You know what I'm saying? Because God, one thing I think what your dad taught you was he taught you that your gift means something. And with that, I felt that your father, because I lost my father too last year, so I truly understand what you went through. So I mean, one thing I think dad teaches, dads teach a lot of kids is character. And I feel like, he was building that character to you. So, even though the way your dad passed, he was preparing you for what you were coming to do,
Absolutely.
And that's why, Steve, I'm just super proud of you. And that's why I was like, a lot of people don't talk about your history. That's why I know you. That's why I know them hits.
Wow.
And that's why it's crazy because next year, Ecstasy from Avant Time makes 20 years. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be crazy. Making good love, that's my jam. I heard that when I was 13.
Man,
so.
man. It's crazy.
It's
I mean,
crazy.
y'all be shocking me because I'll be like, wait a minute, 20.
Yeah, 22. Look, Twin actually was a dope,
I'm an OG and shit. I'm a real OG. Let it be known.
Right.
It's all good. I ain't tripping though.
Right.
I'm living my best life. I love life. I'm so excited about life. I'm so excited about what's to come. I'm so excited about, where we are, the way music is consumed, about the way music is shifting. You got people that's complaining, but I'm not complaining. I'm trying to get in and learn
get that bag.
meta, all of that. Let me get my Bitcoin. Let me create my little, my little virtual world. And you know what I'm saying? I'm about trying to stay ahead of OG can stay ahead.
That's right.
I feel like we should always be looking and not complaining about what's happening, but actually finding out the world that we are living in now, because we're not back there. And so, I'm just happy to see, the music is being appreciated by people all over the world. And, and I'm humble. I'm humble.
You took it to Abu Dhabi, so I have no choice but to get. You international, my personal opinion. But I wanted to ask you another question. If you had to describe one word about Keke's album today, what word would it be? 20 years. Ooh. I have a word. I do have one word.
Okay.
Timeless. 20 years, but
timeless.
Come on, timeless. I call it smooth.
Smooth. I like that. Woo! I like that.
Because it was some smooth records on this album.
I like that.
And you took Keke's voice that even though she's more strong, I heard some smooth ballads like Don't Take Your Love Away. Talk about love. You got what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like I got a groover, but if you only knew that was smooth as man.
Yeah. You just keep pushing me away. Man, last night I called you on the phone. Yeah, that time, that capsule, that time is timeless for me. I just feel like it's just always when, you rise above time, basically.
Yeah.
And instead of saying it's a classic album, I think that it was just a timeless capsule.
Come on.
And I'm proud of it, and I'm proud of her.
And you did, Steve, because that's why I have to give you your flowers, because what you have done for, I think, the culture. Not even think I know for the culture, because for us to be singing for karaoke songs, like out of all the songs we can sing, we sing Nothing in This World. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? For
yeah.
girls and guys and, you know, loves and all that stuff like that. But what you have done for Keke and Yvonne and the Ozzy brothers, and we can go on, Joe. I mean, for gospel, from everything, you really have solidified your stamp in music, period. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So, you know, that's why I have to show you so much respect. But do you what you have anything, current projects or anything going on right now? What's going on with you in
Yeah,
your career right now?
I've got an R&B artist named Westside
Okay.
who first quarter's dropping. I have a rapper, and
You got a rapper?
he's like 6'6". Yeah, he's R&B, but he's 6'6". Beard like
Golly.
Jesus, like Moses, slim and thin and tatted up. And in first quarter you'll start to hear, and I'm gonna have to let you get
That's dope.
get you
Okay.
a advance. Yeah, here, just give me your opinion. And then I
All
got
right.
I got a rapper, like a crazy rapper. His name is Trail.
Mm.
From it, he's like Chicago, like West. So like
Mm-hmm.
Dirk, Herbo.
Mm.
You could just add him in the mix. So first
That's
quarter,
dope.
these projects are about to drop, and then and then like I said, we're
Yay.
still trying to get this Keke thing together,
Please.
which is not. Yeah, it's still not.
Jesus.
It's still possible. So we're. And
That's
then
dope.
I'm just writing. It's another
Yeah.
girl I'm working with. She just dropped the EP, amazing. Her name is Jazz, R&B
Okay.
artist, JASS. You should
Okay.
check her out. And I met with her yesterday, and she's blowing up on Apple, and she's just kind of
Mm.
starting out. She's with the right people, and so that's something that's happening. And then, but more than anything, I'm working on me.
Come on, because
If I
you the
work on
goat.
me first, yeah. If I
You
work
the
on me,
goat.
yeah. I did a track too that I think is for me.
That's dope.
So we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see about that. But yeah,
Right.
I'm just creating and building a studio here in Chicago.
Uh-huh.
Chicago's seeing a big surge in the entertainment, and so it's some beautiful things to be coming in 22.
Come on, come through. So
Yeah.
I do have another question for you. So what
Mm-hmm.
advice do you want to give to people in this industry? Because you have, pretty much laid a blueprint for so many people. But what advice do you want to give for people that are trying to make it or become songwriters or producers or anything of that nature like you did? Because I know the industry has changed so much.
Yeah.
What advice do you want to give to people for, that's trying to break through it?
Well, the industry has changed, but there's certain laws that, like gravity, that stay the same. And it's really, if you really believe that that you've been given a gift, and that you have something that you want to say, sing, rap, whatever,
Come on.
even if it's industry, even if it's management, even if it's engineering, whatever, writing,
Yeah.
you just got to get in the game. You got to surround yourself where you are with talented people who think like you, and they don't have to think like you, because you really want to get around people who don't think like you, and then
That's
the two
right.
of you are now thinking. You have more, you create these relationships, and basically just get into it and throw your all at it, like there's no tomorrow, no plan
Come
B.
on.
When they say it all, it's just no plan B. And you gotta have a guts. But if you got it, if you got a gift, you just gotta get around the music. Somewhere in your city, it's an event. Somewhere in your town, somewhere there's a revolt just happened in Atlanta last week. I mean, wherever you can go, whatever you gotta do, let's just get into it. I mean, music
Right.
is now technology has enabled anybody that has any desire to do anything to do it today and drop it tonight.
Come on. And not
So,
months.
and so and the music ain't nowhere can't touch it. Where the
Yeah.
music at? It's just push a button and it's right there. So
That's
I
it.
want to encourage everybody that's trying to do music. This is the best time to be in music ever. Music is making more money now than it did back in what seems to be the
Wow.
good old days. Now is the time. Now is
Wow.
the time. Music is bussing. It's bussing. So
Come
get
on.
into it. Go throw your leather pants on and put your Balenciaga, you know what I'm saying? Twerk, your way to the top. I don't care. As long as you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Go,
Sure.
if you want to go viral, go run down the street butt naked. You go viral.
I won't, but I'm a historian, so I'm gonna keep that to myself.
But I'm just saying, you know,
But yeah,
work
some
that
people,
thing. You know, it'll work if
yeah,
you work it. And this technology and the way we're talking now and the way we're able to connect, you know, for those artists and those people that really want to get into it, it's a great time. It's a great time. Get into it, but you got to get into it though. You
Come
know,
on,
yeah,
Mr. Steve Stone, Huff the GOAT.
yeah. It's a good
So,
time. It's a good time to get in the game.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. So I want to ask you, do you have any last words before we end today's live on the 20th anniversary of Miss Keke Wyatt Soul Sister album that you have really gave us a timeless hit?
I want to close with thanking you for being the most incredible host. For when you called me and asked me, I was very moved. I want you to know I'm here for you. If you need anything, I'm just a phone call away. I want to thank everybody that came on and joined and you know got into it. And I just really want everybody to live their best life, to live, to love, and to succeed, and to keep him in there.
Amen.
And
That's
if you
right.
don't believe, then keep the universe energy of the world and the feathers and all the leaves flying around. But just go for what you love. Go for what you know. Don't let nobody stop you. It is the greatest time to be alive. COVID won't win. And the best is yet to come.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Steve. Well, you know what? Like I said, my regards same as well to you. I want to thank you so much for just being on my platform. You have given me so much light, so much joy, and just so much energy. Like you have been one of my top 5 interviews that I love.
Oh,
like when I say you up there with John B and them and Shirley Murdoch, I've interviewed. Like you really have shown me so much light and joy, and I want to honor you forever and a day on my platform. You get what I'm saying?
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Thank you.
I appreciate you, and let's talk soon. Have
Yes.
a great day. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk soon. All right.
Yes. God bless you guys. So thank you so much,
y'all.
guys, for coming on my platform, y'all. We are done with my interview, the 20th anniversary of Keke Wyatt's debut album, Soul Sister, guys. Next week, also join me next Wednesday that's coming up. We are getting ready to do a R&B mini battle. We are celebrating Tamia versus Deborah Cox. So we are celebrating the R&B Canadian queens, y'all.
Oh, wow. That's
definitely so much.
dope.
But I'm excited. In 2 weeks, y'all, I definitely do have another interview coming up, but that's going to be on the way. Yeah. But y'all, we are done with my beautiful interview with the one, the only, the great Steve Stone Huff. God bless you so much.
Thank you. Many blessings. All right. And I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Peace.
Love you too. Bye-bye.